Imagine waking up to a headline that sounds impossible. Elon Musk, the world's most recognized tech disruptor, has just joined forces with Maxwell Chikumbutso, the elusive African inventor behind the self-powered electric vehicle. No press conferences. No flashy announcements. Just a quiet agreement that could redraw the map of global technology. But how did this unlikely alliance even begin? It starts far from Silicon Valley, inside a small workshop in southern Africa. A place filled not with billion-dollar equipment, but with soldering tools, circuit boards, and the smell of burnt copper. The kind of place nobody expects history to be written. And yet somehow it always is. For years, Maxwell Chikumbutso was treated like the ghost of innovation, appearing briefly with breakthroughs that seemed to defy physics, then vanishing as quickly as he came. Stories spread about a generator that needed no external fuel, a drone that recharged itself mid-flight, and an electric car that powered itself without ever touching a charger. The world called it speculation. Africa called it genius. Elon Musk called it something else entirely. Proof that the future doesn't care where you're born. The first contact wasn't a business proposal. It wasn't a collaboration request. It was a question, sent quietly through a private channel. How are you powering the system? Maxwell didn't respond with patents, spreadsheets, or presentations. He sent a video. A car looping endlessly around a test track, speakers playing music, headlights on, the instrument cluster showing full charge after hours of operation. No plug. No downtime. Just motion. Musk studied the footage for weeks. Engineers on his payroll attempted to recreate the effect using conventional theory, but every model collapsed under the weight of one problem. Energy doesn't appear from nowhere. So either the footage was fake, or the world had missed something big. And if there's one thing Musk has built his career on, it's refusing to assume that limits are real until he touches them himself. So he flew out. No entourage, no media. Just a private jet, and a question that had now evolved into an obsession. Maxwell greeted him not as a celebrity, but as an equal, someone who understood what it meant to stand alone in the face of ridicule. Their meeting was short. Direct. Inside that cluttered workshop, with a fan spinning overhead and prototypes scattered like fallen leaves, Maxwell explained the principle. Not in trademarked slogans or vague scientific mysticism, but in clean, concise engineering logic. Musk listened. Interruptions. Counterarguments. Hypotheses. And then silence. The kind of silence that settles in only when the brain is forced to update itself. Then came the moment that changed everything. Maxwell powered up the module again, hooked it to a motor, and let it run. No external load. No power bank. No deception. Just sustained motion. After nearly an hour, Musk looked at him and asked the only question that mattered. Why reveal this to me? Maxwell's answer was a whisper, almost drowned out by the motor. Because the world won't accept this from Africa alone. For a man who had challenged oil giants, aerospace monopolies, and automotive empires, Musk understood the political weight of invention better than anyone. Innovation isn't just science, it's power, perception, and narrative. And Maxwell knew he needed someone who could bend the narrative. Weeks passed. Secret meetings. Technical validation. Legal shielding. Not a single press release. Then one night, under NDAs thicker than rocket hulls, Musk shook Maxwell's hand and made the alliance official. The goal wasn't to build a car, a generator, or a drone. It was to rewrite the global relationship between energy and mobility. If successful, it would destroy charging infrastructure as we know it. Oil would collapse. Power grids would be reimagined. Entire nations built on resource extraction would lose their leverage overnight. But not everyone was celebrating. News of the alliance eventually leaked into circles that prefer their world predictable and profitable. Energy executives whispered about regulatory intervention. Governments questioned the legality of a technology that could destabilize their economies. Private defense contractors wanted exclusivity. And somewhere in a boardroom lit by cold fluorescent lights, a plan was drafted to stop them before the world found out. The workshop lights flickered as Maxwell and Musk continued their private discussion, unaware that unseen eyes were already monitoring them. Outside, drones circled silently, scanning for emissions and patterns. Maxwell's team barely noticed. They had prepared for surveillance long ago. But Musk did. He had learned over decades that innovation attracts attention, and attention always comes with consequences. A notification pinged on one of the monitors. Coordinates. Real-time satellite tracking. Someone had pinpointed their exact location. Musk leaned over the screen, brow furrowed. "They know where we are," he said, his voice low but steady. Maxwell nodded. "We expected it. That's why the secondary protocols are active." He tapped a sequence into a keyboard, and the entire facility went dark for a heartbeat. Not a total blackout, but a digital shadow. Signals scrambled. Cameras looped previous feeds. Outside observers would see nothing unusual. Musk crossed his arms. "So, they can track us, but they can't see us. Yet." "That's the plan," Maxwell replied. "For now." They walked over to the EV, the silent machine that had brought them together. Musk ran a hand along the smooth frame. "If anyone gets their hands on this technology before it's ready," he trailed off, imagining the chaos, the global economic upheaval, the sudden irrelevance of traditional energy systems. Maxwell looked him in the eye. "That's why we move fast. But calculated. One step at a time. If we release this too soon, we risk more than rejection. We risk sabotage." The room fell silent. Outside, the wind carried the faint hum of the city, oblivious to the storm gathering in the shadows. Musk's mind raced through scenarios: corporations, governments, rogue entities. Who could afford to attack them, and what tools would they use? A sudden vibration from the tablet on the desk caught their attention. A live feed from a nearby facility, showing engineers rushing to cover equipment. Maxwell frowned. "That's unusual. Protocol Indigo shouldn't have tripped alarms." Musk leaned over. "Someone's inside the perimeter." Maxwell's gaze hardened. "Then it's time to test them." In seconds, the workshop transformed. Hidden panels revealed defensive drones, powered by MSED units, rising silently into the air. A faint blue glow emanated from the walls, shielding sensitive modules. Musk had seen rockets launch, had watched spacecraft defy gravity, but this was different. This was precision engineering in motion, silently protecting innovation before the world even knew it existed. A shadow moved across the periphery of the security feeds, a figure, unmarked, deliberate, approaching the workshop. Maxwell watched silently, analyzing its path, its speed, the pattern of its movement. Musk watched too, impressed despite himself. This wasn't a game, it was war. And yet, Maxwell moved with calm certainty. "Whoever this is," Maxwell said quietly, "they'll learn quickly that chasing a self-powered car isn't just a chase. It's a trap." The figure halted at the edge of the workshop compound, scanning. The blue light of the drones reflected in the visor. Musk squinted. "Military?" "No insignia," Maxwell replied. "Not government. Not corporate. But skilled enough to be dangerous." A small panel clicked open. The figure raised a hand, showing empty palms. Maxwell stepped forward cautiously. Musk stayed back, observing. "We don't come to steal," the figure said, voice distorted through a mask. "We come because we know this technology could save or destroy the world. And we want to help it survive." Musk's eyes met Maxwell's. He knew what this meant. Allies didn't always arrive as friends. But enemies didn't always arrive with a warning either. Maxwell smiled faintly. "Then let's see if your intentions are real." Outside, the night skies stretched wide. The city lights glittered like distant stars. Somewhere beyond the horizon, the forces of the world, corporations, governments, shadow networks, were already shifting pieces on a chessboard they couldn't even see yet. And at the center of it all, a self-powered car hummed quietly, oblivious to the storm it had awakened. The figure stepped closer, and the subtle hum of the MSED-powered drones grew louder, filling the workshop with an invisible barrier of energy. Musk studied the masked intruder's posture, calm, precise, almost rehearsed. This wasn't a random intruder. This was someone trained to navigate high-tech environments, someone who understood the stakes. Maxwell gestured toward a side console, pressing a hidden sequence. A holographic interface flickered to life, projecting a 3D map of the surrounding city. Red markers pulsed where potential threats were detected. "They've been watching for days," he said quietly, "trying to learn our patterns. But they miscalculated. We're already 3 steps ahead." Musk's hand hovered over the dashboard of the EV. The sleek, black vehicle seemed almost alive, ready to respond to any command. He felt the weight of possibility, the kind that comes only when the world's rules are about to be rewritten. The figure raised a hand again, signaling patience. Then a soft, modulated voice spoke. "We know what you're building. And we also know it's bigger than either of you realize. There are factions that would see it destroyed before it leaves this workshop." Musk exchanged a glance with Maxwell. "Then why are you here?" "To help it survive," the figure replied. "We offer protection, guidance, and intelligence. But make no mistake, we don't negotiate loyalty. Only results." Maxwell leaned slightly forward. "And how do we know we can trust you?" The figure tilted their head. "You'll know when we act. Words are cheap. Action isn't." A faint vibration ran through the floor as a drone outside intercepted a small black device attempting to infiltrate their perimeter. The device exploded harmlessly in midair, disintegrating into sparks. Musk's eyes widened. "They're testing our defenses." Maxwell nodded, unconcerned. "Let them. The system is designed for this. It adapts, predicts, responds." The masked figure moved closer to the EV. "It's not just the car. It's the network, the drones, the generators, everything you've built. If you leave even one piece exposed, they'll find it, and it will all collapse." Musk's mind raced. "So we deploy carefully. Incremental. Testing. Observation. Controlled exposure." Maxwell's hand rested on the hood of the vehicle, as if drawing confidence from it. "Exactly. And every step we take, we remain invisible until the moment the world must see us." The figure stepped back and removed a small device from their vest. It projected a holographic simulation of multiple scenarios, global energy networks, power grids, transportation systems, all showing the devastating ripple effect of a self-powered vehicle entering mass circulation. Musk leaned in, analyzing the data. "They won't just resist. They'll mobilize everything. Entire industries, governments, military contractors, every entity with a vested interest in energy dependency." Maxwell's expression didn't change. "Then we prepare accordingly. This is more than a car. It's a movement." The intruder's visor reflected the glowing dashboard of the EV. "Then let's see if the world is ready for the revolution." Outside, the city's skylines stretched into the horizon, unaware that a silent war over the future of energy had already begun. The black EV waited, humming quietly, holding within it the key to change. And somewhere in the shadows, forces gathered, plotting the moment they would try to seize what Maxwell and Musk were about to unleash. The first test run outside the workshop was about to begin. Maxwell slid into the driver's seat, Musk beside him, both silently acknowledging the stakes. The EV's dashboard flickered to life, the holographic display mapping the city streets ahead. Outside, the sun had dipped low, casting long shadows over the industrial zone. Every corner, every rooftop could hide observers. Every intersection could conceal threats. Maxwell pressed the accelerator lightly. The car glided forward, silent as a shadow, hugging the curves of the road. Musk gripped the edge of the seat, not out of fear, but anticipation. The way the vehicle responded, smooth, instantaneous, imperceptible torque lag, was unlike anything he'd ever felt. Drones lifted off automatically from the workshop, forming a protective perimeter in the sky. Their soft blue glow painted the streets below. Maxwell glanced at Musk. "They can't touch us now. Not here. Not for the next few minutes." Musk scanned the horizon, his eyes catching movement on a distant rooftop. Small black figures, moving in formation. "Looks like they've sent scouts," he said quietly. Maxwell nodded. "Testing again." They're cautious. But so are we. The EV accelerated, weaving through narrow alleys with uncanny precision. Musk's breath caught as the speed increased, yet the car remained utterly stable, almost as if it anticipated every curve. He had felt G-forces in rockets, in supercars, even in Hyperloop simulations, but this was different. Total control, total silence, total energy independence. Ahead, the first obstacle appeared, a temporary roadblock set up to simulate interference. Maxwell tapped a button on the console, and the car adjusted autonomously, rerouting power to auxiliary systems, maintaining perfect acceleration. Musk couldn't help but nod in impressed disbelief. It adapts like it's alive. From the shadows, the intruder from earlier watched, now joined by two more masked figures. Their movements were precise, calculated, coordinated. They weren't just humans, they were a highly trained reconnaissance unit. Every step they took, every device they deployed, was monitored and countered by the EV's network drones. Musk leaned closer. This isn't just a car anymore. It's a fortress on wheels. Maxwell's eyes stayed on the road. It has to be. If we're going public, or even semi-public, it's going to be tested immediately. And we're not ready for the world yet. The car approached an open stretch, an abandoned runway Maxwell had secured earlier. With a single tap, the EV switched to full test mode. Sensors recalibrated, energy flows redistributed, and in an instant, the vehicle surged forward, accelerating to speeds Musk had only felt in experimental Hyperloop simulations. Behind them, the intruders tried to react. Small drones fired pulses, attempting to disable the vehicle's sensors. The EV shifted power, neutralizing the interference. Musk's jaw tightened. They're aggressive. They don't know what they're up against, Maxwell replied calmly, voice steady. The car leapt forward, gliding over terrain that should have slowed it. Debris, uneven asphalt, stray vehicles. The energy system maintained balance, redistributing power in milliseconds. Musk's hands gripped the seat as adrenaline coursed through him. He had piloted spacecraft through simulations that required perfect timing, but this was raw, immediate, and unstoppable. Ahead, the masked intruders moved closer, revealing the first signs of intent. Not observation, but confrontation. One deployed a device that projected a pulse toward the EV, attempting to jam its energy core. The car reacted instantly, rerouting energy. The pulse deflected harmlessly into the air. Musk exhaled sharply. They're escalating. Maxwell's eyes narrowed. Exactly what I expected. And now we see how prepared they really are. The first high-speed confrontation between Maxwell's self-powered vehicle and the unknown forces had begun. The night was about to get louder, faster, and far more dangerous. The EV surged forward, silent yet impossibly fast, hugging the edges of the runway as the intruders unleashed more devices. Pulses of electromagnetic interference lit up the night like sparks in a storm. Each one should have slowed the car, drained its energy, or triggered a system failure. Yet Maxwell's creation absorbed, redistributed, and neutralized everything in real time. Musk leaned forward, eyes wide, adrenaline sharp. It's adapting faster than I thought possible. The system's predicting their moves before they even make them. Maxwell didn't answer. He was watching the energy readouts, the holographic feedback from the drones overhead, the subtle shifts in the EV's core. Every microsecond was accounted for, every variable recalculated in real time. He had designed this for moments like this: total autonomy, total protection, total survival. Ahead, the first intruder deployed a magnetic net, a device meant to ensnare the car physically, an old-school tactic against futuristic tech. The EV detected the approaching threat and, in a smooth motion that almost looked human, adjusted its suspension and cleared the net effortlessly. The magnetic pulse deflected harmlessly into the ground. Musk's mouth dropped open. It just ignored it. Behind them, the other two figures accelerated toward the perimeter with jet-black motorcycles, trying to intercept the EV from the sides. Maxwell pressed a sequence on the console, and suddenly, the drones overhead swooped low, projecting an electromagnetic shield between the car and the pursuers. Sparks danced on the asphalt as the shield neutralized the devices in midair. Musk's hands gripped the edge of the dashboard. They've never seen anything like this. They're outmatched. Maxwell allowed himself a brief nod. It's not just outmatched. It's invisible until it strikes. That's the principle. Adaptive energy. Adaptive defense. The EV approached the open city streets. Streetlights flickered overhead, casting long, dramatic shadows across the hood. Musk noticed pedestrians in the distance, oblivious to the high-stakes chase occurring around them. "We need to move fast before someone notices," he said. Maxwell glanced at him. "They already have. This is why speed matters. Every second counts." One of the intruders deployed a drone from a backpack, a compact device armed with mini EMP charges. It shot toward the EV at high speed. Maxwell's hand hovered above the control panel for just a moment, then he activated a countermeasure. The EV released a localized energy pulse, sending the EMP off course and harmlessly into a building wall. Sparks lit the air like fireworks. Musk exhaled slowly, gripping the console. "It's perfect. I've never seen anything like it. Not in Tesla, not in SpaceX." Maxwell smiled faintly. "That's the point. We didn't build it to fit into your rules. We built it to rewrite them." The intruders regrouped, frustrated, circling the EV with coordinated precision. But the car didn't panic. It glided through alleys, over small debris, and even up a slight ramp, leaving the pursuers momentarily disoriented. Musk's heart raced. It's not just surviving. It's dominating the environment. Maxwell's gaze stayed fixed ahead. And this is only the beginning. The world isn't ready for what comes next, but we will show them anyway. From the shadows above, city lights reflecting off their armored helmets, the intruders signaled to one another. They were skilled, yes, but Maxwell had built a machine designed for moments exactly like this, a machine that would not fail, even under extreme pressure. Musk whispered, almost to himself, "If this works in real life, the implications are infinite." Maxwell's hand rested lightly on the dashboard. "Then let's finish the demonstration. Let them see what they're up against." The car accelerated again, faster than ever, cutting through the night like a blade of black lightning. Behind, the intruders scrambled, devices failing, drones neutralized, tactics outmaneuvered. Musk grinned despite the tension. This is history in motion. And above, the city held its breath, unaware that the first true self-powered EV, protected by adaptive technology and human ingenuity, had just begun its journey into a world that wasn't ready for it. The EV surged one final time, moving with effortless precision as the remaining intruders faltered. Drones flared, energy shields pulsed, and every attack they attempted was neutralized instantly. The black vehicle glided over the city streets, silent and unstoppable, leaving sparks of failed technology in its wake. Musk's eyes reflected awe and disbelief. "It's unstoppable," he whispered, barely audible over the hum of the adaptive system. Maxwell's hands rested lightly on the console. "Unstoppable until the world is ready." They drove into the night, the skyline glowing behind them, the city oblivious to the revolution that had just begun. Every street, every shadow, every obstacle had been overcome. The self-powered EV had proven not just its technology, but its purpose. Freedom from dependency, from infrastructure, from limits. The intruders retreated, defeated but alive, leaving behind a single, unmistakable message: the future had shifted. And those who controlled energy no longer controlled power.